Hi there. Good morning to all our viewers who've tuned in bright and early on this edition of Newspresso right here on Moneycontrol with me, Stacy Pereira. And as the drill goes, in the next few minutes, we're going to be giving you a lowdown of all the top stories from across the globe, insights into India, as well as the latest trends that are doing the rounds, be it on social media and otherwise, which will give you that edge and keep you informed. So stay with us for the next few minutes because we're going to get you firstly all that we're getting from our global dispatch. Well, let's look at Wall Street then, and seems like that September slump continues there because the Dow Jones shed close to 400 odd points in its worst day since March. Now, investors were mostly reacting to the latest home sales as well as consumer confidence report, which pretty much stoked concerns over the state of the US economy. The S&P 500 has dipped below the 4,300 levels for the first time since June 9th. Whereas August new home sales, that one also missed its expectations, where the conference board numbers for consumer confidence has that index has fallen to about 103 in September versus the 108 in August. Though among the stock-specific action, we did see banking names which were the biggest drags, like Wells Fargo as well as Morgan Stanley, down by about 2 and 1% respectively. Amazon shares too fell by about 4% after the Federal Trade Commission of the FTC filed an antitrust lawsuit against the e-com giant. And an eye on Europe, where the European stocks have fallen for the fourth straight session as negative sentiment now grips pretty much all of global markets. The Pan-European Stock 600 index has closed 0.6% lower, with most of the sectors in the red. The tech stocks saw the biggest decline, falling by about 2%, whereas it was auto stocks that dropped by 1.2%. Investors, though, are now looking ahead to the inflation data in the region, which is due for release on Friday, which could then influence the European Central Bank for its next move. The prospects of a lower peak interest rate than what markets had previously expected has pretty much weighed on the currency as well, with the British pound now as well as the euro both touching a 6-month low against the US dollar. The sterling, in fact, fell below that $1.22 for the first time since March. Though among the stocks that were the big moves in Europe, we saw electronics distributor RS Group, Barclays Bank, as well as grocery delivery firm Ocado all gain pretty much in trade. And a spotlight on the Asian markets, where this morning we're seeing pretty much all those indices in the red, trading mixed, we could say. Investors are digesting the China industrial data as well as the Australian inflation figures that have just trickled in. Australia's weighted inflation rate has climbed to about 5.2% on a year-on-year basis in August, which is pretty much in line with expectations. Reacting to those numbers, though, the S&P ASX 200 has slipped just marginally, 0.14% in early trade. Indices in Japan too are trading in the negative, we could say, as investors are reacting to Bank of Japan's policy minutes, which has come out now and is showing that members were split over when the next interest rate hike needs to be in their July meeting. South Korea's Kospi is also trading rather flat, whereas Hang Seng, that one seems to be reversing its losses from yesterday and is trading in the green. The GIFT Nifty here back home is indicating a lower start for the Indian markets. And on the commodities front, well, we did see oil prices rebounding from that slump of a 2-week low that it saw to gain nearly 1% in overnight trade. Expectations of a tighter supply outweighed the worries that an uncertain economic outlook would really dim demand. Now, Brent crude futures, they settled by about 67 cents higher, or 0.7%, at $93.96 per barrel. Russia, which managed to soften its gasoline as well as a diesel export ban. Remember, exports of products already accepted by the Russian railway as well as the Transneft, those ones can go ahead at this point, whereas higher sulfur gasoline and fuel used for the bunkering, those will be exempt from the ban. But the ban on exports of high-quality diesel as well as gasoline will remain there. That's what Russia is making, a little tweak to its ban they had put in place. Though limiting the oil gains, we are seeing, in fact, the US dollar, which is now at a 10-month high, which is higher because of the bond yields and also attracting a more greenback, we could say. The stronger dollar, remember, typically weighs on oil demand and it becomes more expensive for importers who are looking to buy oil. So that's where we're seeing those prices really swing. Let's also bring you up to speed with a little bit of corporate news that we're getting, where Alibaba this time around is planning to list its logistics unit, which is called Xianyao.
Now this one they're going to plan on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The Chinese e-commerce giant has said this in its regulatory filing. Now the move is also part of that most radical shake-up that we saw in Alibaba's history, which happened back in March, where it decided to split its structure into 6 business units. Now Cineao is also the first of those businesses which is officially filing its initial public offering. Details yet though have to surface on what the pricing of those shares will be and when could one really expect that listing date. Alibaba though will continue to hold more than 50% of the shares in this company even after the spin-off. And to all the geopolitical situation that is really transpiring, we are seeing thousands of Armenians who have now fled their homes in the disputed region of Nagorno and Karabakh. Now, both of this fearing ethnic cleansing after Azerbaijan's military attacked them. Now, at least 20 people were killed in an explosion at the fuel depot there. Now, local Armenian authorities are saying that 290 people were admitted to hospitals and dozens of them still in critical condition. Now, the United States has called on Azerbaijan to safeguard the fleeing Armenians, and envoys, in fact, from both the nations will be meeting in Brussels soon. Now, the disputed region, which is recognized internationally as being part of Azerbaijan, have been home to tens of thousands of Armenians for over 3 decades now. But it is this military attack that we saw on September 19th that has really disrupted all ties there. Well, let's also tell you a little bit more on the Indian markets, and we'll give you a recap of what really went down in trade here on the Lal Street, where we did see pretty range-bound trade, we could say, in yesterday's session. Absolutely flat. The Sensex ending just about 78 points lower, whereas the Nifty ending just 2 points in the red. Now, autos were the ones that were in top gear, with the index gaining for about 0.25 percentage point, whereas mid-caps saw some muted movement and the small caps this time around outperformed. If you look at banks and IT stocks, those were among the top laggards in trade yesterday. And the big stock movers, we did see, like I said, autos. It was Eicher Motors, which was the top gainer after brokerages initiated a buy coverage on that counter. We also saw action in gas stocks through the likes of IGL, Mahanagar Gas, as well as GAIL. But among the stocks that you need to be looking out, keeping on your watch today, there will be Voltmap Transformers, which saw a huge block deal yesterday, where the promoter sold almost 12% of paid-up equity. Also look out for Vedanta, which could see some negative action after Moody's has downgraded the company's corporate family rating to a Caa2. This pretty much a negative outlook also continuing. As far as listings go, you can see on D Street debuts today, there will be Sai Silk, Kalamandir, as well as a Signature Global India. Both of those will be listing on the brochures today. Now, to all the latest corporate developments, where IT services company, that is Infosys, will be now collaborating with Microsoft to jointly develop solutions that can leverage Infosys' Topaz as well as Azure OpenAI services and Azure Cognitive services. Now, according to the stock exchange filing, both these companies are bringing in their respective artificial intelligence or AI capabilities to enhance enterprise function with the AI-enabled solutions across the multiple industries that they function to. The collaboration, though, hopes to help enterprise customers transition from digital to AI solution and also help customers develop a new business model and as well as realize revenues for streaming. Now, moving on to news from the startup space, where edtech firm Byju this time around here at least has kicked off a massive restructuring exercise that may lead to about 4,000 to 5,000 job cuts. Sources are saying that these job cuts are expected to impact the India-based employees of the Think and Learn Private Limited, which is the entity that operates Byju, and could also include employees of Akash that was acquired by Byju. Now, these job cuts come at a time when the embattled edtech unicorn is pretty much grappling with tight liquidity situation. Byju's new India CEO, that is Arjun Mohan, has hit the ground running, one could say, after taking charge just last week, and will be spearheading this restructuring exercise, which they hope will be completed in the next few weeks. So we are going to see pretty much how he manages to turn things around at Byju, but layoffs and job cuts is what we are seeing first off. Let's also now tell you more what could actually come as a big blow to these real money gaming industry. Now, as it stands, they are staring at a huge tax liability of over 1 lakh crore rupees. Now, all this is happening because the Directorate General of GST Intelligence is reportedly sending tax demands to several of these companies, and we've seen that in the past few days. Now, the tax demand notice, one of them has been sent to Dream 11. Now, reports peg that this demand is to the tune of 40,000 crore rupees if considered in a retrospective manner. Now, Dream 11 in fact has moved the Bombay High Court against that 18,000 crore tax demand for not paying 28% GST on the face value of the bets collected. At least that's what the GST Council claims. Now, the company has alleged that the notices are arbitrary, adding that it calls for taxing on the entire contest entry amount and not just that face value that is being put forward. Though amidst all of this backdrop, we are seeing that the GST Council will be meeting on 7th of October, and this is likely to be one of those contentious issues which will be taken up, and we are going to see perhaps some kind of outcome that we get to hear from the Finance Minister and the others part of that GST Council. Well, let's also tell you from what's happening in the top courts, where the Supreme Court now has pulled up the government for delaying the approval process of its collegium's recommendations. Now, the court has observed that the collegium had approved the transfer of 26 High Court judges. However, the process is still pending with the centre. The Apex Court came down quite heavily on the government, saying that it was being patient but may not do so in the future. The petitioners have claimed that the shortlisted candidates were now withdrawing their names due to these delays. The top court has in fact given the Attorney General just 1 week's time to convey the government's concern. And to all the latest trends that are doing the round, of course, let's tell you more about what's doing the rounds in Bollywood. And well, legendary actor who has ruled the Indian cinemas for decades and especially beloved for her work in films like Guide, Pyasa, Kaagaz Ke Phool. Yes, I'm talking about Waheeda Rehman. She's going to be conferred the prestigious DadaSaheb Phalke Award for 2021. Now, the DadaSaheb Phalke Award, remember, is the highest recognition in the field of Indian cinema. The announcement was made by Anurag Thakur, the Information and Broadcasting Minister, who took to X.com to announce the same. Rehman boasts of a career spanning of around 5 decades and has in the past won a national award as well for her role in the 1971 film Reshma and Shera, as well as in the year 1972 she was conferred the Padma Shri and has also been a recipient of the Padma Bhushan in 2011. Let's listen in to what she had to say after being declared that honor.
खुशी लग रही है और मुझे ये अच्छा लग रहा है कि ये गवर्नमेंट का बहुत बड़ा अवार्ड है। वो जब कभी जो भी चीज़ प्यार से, इज्जत से, मोहब्बत से देते हैं उसमें ज़्यादा मज़ा आता है। और मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ आईबी मिनिस्ट्री अनुराग ठाकुर जी का और पूरे जितने भी जूरीज होंगे उन्होंने मुझे चूज़ किया, इसकी मैं बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ और बहुत खुश हूँ। शुक्रिया।
Now, a video that was circulated on the internet last evening has left many cricket fans quite shocked and even concerned at the same time. The so-called viral video showed cricket legend Kapil Dev handcuffed and being dragged by 2 men in what seemed like the cricketer was being held hostage or being kidnapped. Now, the video fueled quite a high level of curiosity that was finally put to rest when former cricketer Gautam Gambhir took to X to reveal the context of that video. Initially, Gambhir also was questioning the nature of the video but went on to then clarify that the video was part of an advertisement shoot for the upcoming ICC Men's World Cup. Now, the ICC Men's World Cup will be hosted here in India and will begin on October 5th and will conclude on November 19th. It will span over 48 matches across 10 venues, and we do hope that the men in blue actually get that trophy. And moving on to more news from the field of sport, and this time it's tennis that I'm talking about. Well, that's because a multiple Grand Slam winner, Leander Paes, has emerged as the first Asian man to be nominated for the International Tennis Hall of Fame in the Players category. 50-year-old Pearce is one of the 6 nominees announced by the class of 2024. The other nominees include Ana Ivanovic as well as Carlos Moya, who now is the coach for Spain's Rafael Nadal. If Pearce is inducted into the Hall of Fame, he will become the first tennis player from India to achieve this honor. But that's not all. We also have India's Vijay Amritraj, a former top-level tennis player who also now is a popular commentator as well as tennis analyst. He is also being nominated as in the contributors category. The only nominee with him in this category is that of tennis journalist Richard Evans from the United Kingdom. Now, this will be opened for fan voting now, giving the tennis fans around the world an opportunity to vote for their player that they would like to see inducted into tennis's Hall of Fame. Now to things that will really make a difference to your life. Now, if you're somebody who does hold a demat account, there is some respite coming in there because market regulator SEBI has extended the deadline for demat account holders to provide their nominations as well as to give those KYC submissions, be it PAN as well as others. So that deadline now has been extended to December 31st from what was actually September 30th. Now, earlier SEBI had warned that the demat accounts, if they did not submit this, those would be frozen. So now some respite coming in there for demat account holders. You have till 31st December now to be complying with all of those norms. Then we are also going to see today, after that roaring success of RRR that we saw last time at the Academy Awards, the Film Federation of India today will be announcing India's official entry to the 2023-2024 Oscars. We are going to see those names at around 10:30 a.m. is when that announcement is going to come. So we can see what we're likely getting to see for India's entry to the Oscars. And also, well, it's really hard to imagine a world nowadays without Google. The search engine today turns 25 years old. It was officially launched on 27th of September of 2003, and since then, an astounding 8.5 billion searches have been taking place on Google, which is available in about 150 different languages as well and across 190 countries. So we'd like to actually wish Google, that has helped us in so many other things, a very happy 25th birthday. Well, with that, it's a wrap, and we hope this dose of Newspresso has got you up to speed with all that is transpiring across the globe and has you covered on all corners. But don't forget to come back here tomorrow, same place, same time, for your fresh shot of Newspresso. From the entire team that puts this show together, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Moneycontrol for more updates as they continue right here.